Well, hello everybody and welcome once again to Lightning TV, brought to you of course by mjdphoto.biz. Another busy weekend for Lightning. Saturday's visitors to the Thunderdome were Telford Tigers. Lightning took the points there in a 9-0 win, a shutout for Steve Wall. There was a tough road trip down to Swindon to face Swindon Wildcats. After the game on Saturday, we caught up with a couple of the guys. So Stephen, in between the pipes for the first time in a while and automatic shutout.
Yeah, it's been a long time. I played this. That was my fourth game and my first home win, I should say. It was good. It's been a long time coming, and it's been a massive monkey to get off me back to get the shutout. But I felt all right, felt good, and kept concentrating through the whole game and got the job done.
I mean, it says a lot for the game when you've got 60 minutes of an ice hockey game and absolutely zero penalties. But at the end of the day, you can only beat what's put in front of you, can't you?
Yeah, that's right. And, even when we went 3-4-0 up at the start of the first period, as a goalie, you still can't switch off. I think these are one of the toughest games to play because one minute you're not doing anything and then the next minute you're flying around the ice. So it's hard mentally to get like that, but I felt confident and I felt all right, and I'm glad Nick gave me the opportunity to play, and I took it well. And
Telford, let's face it, Telford can score goals. They've got goals in that team, haven't they?
Well, they beat us twice. We need to give them payback for the home game. When I played and they beat us, and that's just rewards for us. And you can't knock them out. They can beat anyone on any given day, like they've proved this year, and they beat us twice. Now we've beat them twice. So let the season commence.
We spoke during the summer, and for one reason or another, that video didn't come out I'm going to call it technical reasons. I think I pushed the wrong button somewhere along the line. But then we were talking about your decision to come and join us here at Milton Keynes. There's no doubt in that decision now, is there?
No, it wasn't a doubt in my mind when I first signed either. It was something I really wanted to do and give myself a challenge to come here. And I know it's a big rivalry between Peterborough, and I was there for 7 seasons, and it was 7 good seasons. But things change and decisions were made, and it was either I put the shirt on and stress through the whole season, or I make the decision and move on. And I decided to move on, and yes, it's been up and down, but it's paying off now, and I'm glad. It's been a stressful couple of months, to be honest, and summer, but it was just something I had to do, and I'm glad I've done it. And here I am now, Milton Keynes, and I want to win trophies for the times I've beat Milton Keynes in the past, and I want to give that back. So here I am.
I don't think anybody doubted when we'd heard you signed. I don't think anybody doubted the credibility of the signing. Yes, there used to be an awful lot of banter flying around, but I think certainly you're one of the most respected netminders in the league. So it goes without saying that more than welcoming it. As far as the fans were concerned, in the Milton Keynes jersey.
No, yeah, thank you very much. But it's always hard. Even when that was my first home win, and it's December, and it's hard coming in week week out. Metzi's playing unbelievable, and it's hard. I mean, we work well together in training. We have a good laugh and we work on things together, and I'm glad he's pushing on as well. I'm getting older as it is, so but it's nice to play, but at the end of the day we both want to play, and it can only be a good thing for this team, so let's carry on.
It's the mentality of a netminder, isn't it? Certainly the setup we've got here at Lightning, with the two of you vying for that number one spot. As you say, Metzi's on fire at the moment. He's got the number one spot, but even Metzi would turn around and say that you're learning things from one another all the time. It's not a case of, yes, to a certain extent you're sort of doing battle for that number one spot, but at the end of the day the most important thing is the team performance.
Yeah, I mean, you're right in what you're saying, but at the end of the day he's still young. You've got goalies like Stevie Lyle, Greg Rockman, they're old, they're experienced. They can do 40 games a season, 50 games a season, or whatever it is, but he's coming through, and it will be a matter of time before he plays the whole season. He'll be really good. He's athletic, he's like a Bartley card. He's a flexible little friend. That guy, should see him in training, but he puts me to shame. But yeah, he's going to be good, and it can only be good for Milton Keynes Lightning.
Well, it does give Nick as well a little bit of flexibility, doesn't it, in the netminding standings, because to a certain extent you both got slightly different styles, so come up against different teams. His options are there, aren't they?
Yeah, well now they are. Yeah, now I'm playing. What I can do, but yeah, it's been tough for myself. But for Nick, that's why he's the coach. I need to make it hard for him. That comes down to a Thursday when we get told, and it can only be good for him. Just relying on Metzi all the time, it gives him a nice little break. Like I said, he will be playing majority of seasons coming up, and I've done my time doing 50 odd games. It is stressful, but yeah, he is going to be good, and I just give Nick Bull stress. That's all.
And just going to your previous sides, Peterborough Phantoms, of course, and Basingstoke Bison, both at complete opposite ends of the spectrum. And now Phantoms having a bit of a dip in fortunes financially. That it's been well documented over the last couple of weeks. Bison flying high. Yeah,
they are. And the signings they made, I think Shep was smart in what he done, and he's very, very smart in getting James Hutchinson. They can only boost their ways of trying to win the league. Hopefully,
potentially that's going to be a deal of the season, isn't it?
Well, it can be, but every player's different. I went down there expecting to play like I can do, and I didn't. If I'm honest, and. You just don't know. With players. It's a fragile thing, but he's professional. He's a good enough player, and hopefully he's a good friend of mine. Hopefully he will do well in himself. Hopefully as a team don't do very well, because we want to catch him win the league. But Peterborough, I don't really have no comments about that. It's a touchy subject for me, and I don't really want to comment on it.
No, that's totally understandable. Going back to Bison, 2 points in the bag tonight. It's going to be a tough trip tomorrow. It's Swindon away. Tough place to go this season.
It is, yeah. We've been there once and we've won. So we just go with that mentality that we've done it before. We can do it again. So hopefully we'll come back with 2 points tomorrow.
Brilliant stuff. Well, Stephen, many thanks for talking to us. Tough trip tomorrow, as I say. All the best down there in Swindon, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Yep. Thank you very much. Cheers. Thank you.
Not the hardest game we'll have all season.
No, I think sometimes you can play in a 9-0 game and the scoreline can flatter. I think without being disrespectful to Telford, I think we could have scored 20 tonight, because we had lots and lots of chances, lots of real good chances. I think in the past we may have perhaps not given Telford the respect they deserved, because they are a good team. They're an incredibly hard-working team, and I think in the past, they've taken 4 points off of us where perhaps we've not approached the game quite correctly. Certainly not correct in terms of mentality. But I thought the guys from the off tonight, they were pretty professional in what they were doing. It was about making sure that we won the game. And then once you start to get your noses in front, as we did in the first period, then all of a sudden your confidence is up. When you're confident, you're shooting. We played a good game. But take nothing away from Telford. They're a good team.
They are a team with goals in them, aren't they? They've already proved that to absolutely everybody in the league this year so far.
Yeah, I think very much so. I think what's been done at Telford has been a fantastic job. They've they can score goals. They certainly work hard. Everybody knows they've got probably the smallest budget in the league, probably for sure the smallest budget in the league. They've done an incredible job, and I think teams that go there and perhaps don't afford them the respect they deserve, they'll come unstuck, no question about it. So I feel for them tonight, because they're certainly better than the scoreline would suggest. But we occasionally do that. We occasionally have games where we can just blow teams away, and that just goes back to my point that if we play the way that I know that we can play, I think we've got a great team.
Yeah, you certainly have. And going back to what you just said then, when you have a whole game, and Lightning show that probably in every single game in short spurts, 2-3 minutes there, 4, 5, maybe 6 minutes there. It's total puck possession, but it's when it comes together in a whole game, oh boy, it comes together, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it does. And I mean, that game against Manchester springs to mind, where we were fluid, we were quick. I think we've had a bit of a disrupted season. You can't not be affected by losing somebody as good as Adam Calder. And he's been a big hole, and big boots to fill, to be fair. And I think we've had to kind of almost relook at our game, regroup a little bit. If we can keep tidy at the back, we've still got players injured and players out. We were too short tonight without Adam. And so with a full roster on our day, I still think we're a top 3 team.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, and I still think, I just have a feeling that the results are slightly false at the moment. Bison being up there, I think they're 6 points clear at the top now. When I say false, they're obviously good enough to be at the top, but with regard to the gap, that's a slightly false gap. I still think there's maybe 2 or 3 maybe teams that can close that quite quickly.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, no question about it. Bison are a very, very good team, and you look at that team and you think, that team. It's almost for them to lose. Having said that, we haven't given up yet. We've got to play them 4 times. I know they've got to play Guildford, Manchester. The truth of the matter is, this season, this league is a cracking league.
Well, we had this conversation last year, didn't we? You remember that, January last year, the Lightning Guildford game was billed as the title decider. And all of a sudden, 5 weeks later, Lightning are 10 points behind Guildford. It just happens like that, doesn't it?
It does, and you get some momentum. You get some wins under your belt. Other teams drop some points. I think Manchester now have dropped 4 points, and so all of a sudden we're 2 points behind them. Guildford have won a number of games. I think they've lost a couple, and it just makes for sort of every game. All you want is that every game is a game where you go into and either team can win, and I think that's what most fans would say that they would want to see is a game where nobody wants to go to watch a game when that the result's going to be one way or the other.
One note for the big guy in between the pipes tonight. That did his confidence the world of good. Waller in the net.
Yeah, I sometimes don't think Waller realises how good he is, and I'm really, really pleased for the man tonight. He was in goal, solid. He's a great netminder, and I think actually Waller, when he's confident of himself, he's beaten us on his own many a time in Peterborough. So no doubt that he's exactly what we need, and I know that he'll keep pushing Metzi, but tonight will have done him a world of good actually. Yeah,
I just did the interview with him. He's grinning. He's left with a smile on his face.
Yeah, and he deserves it as well, to be fair. Sometimes it's not easy when you come into a club and you've got a netminder like Metzi in goal who has been outstanding for us, Metzi, over a number of years, and it's quite hard. You come into a new room, you're not getting quite the games that you'd hoped. For a netminder, any mistake a netminder makes, then usually it's a goal. If you're a forward and you miss a shot, then fine, you can swing around and pick up the puck and go back at them again. But if you're a netminder and you make a mistake, that's it.
Well, Zato, Lucas Zattingback will happily remind Wally about that.
Yeah.
A couple of seasons ago, although you probably wouldn't do it right now.
Yeah, very much so. But no, I'm pleased with Waller. I must admit, it's great to have him, get some good minutes, great shutout, and also a great performance as well.
Got to talk about, before you go, the game next week. Obviously, the tough road trip tomorrow against Swindon, but the game next week against Guildford. And it's not so much the game, it's what's going on after the game, the promise auction, which looks like it's going to be a fantastic evening.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got some... Sylvia's done a fantastic job. She's got some amazing prizes, Prada shoes, not for me, but for the ladies.
Not your size, no?
No, absolutely not. I know that she's got... I think some of them are good prizes and some of them are booby prizes. The thought of having dinner with Wiggy and Chinny just leaves me a little bit cold actually. I just dread to think what that's going to be like, but there are some fantastic prizes. Obviously it helps the club, and we're going to run the auction here. We're going to run the auction before the game so that you can bid during the game if you want to make a silent bid, or you can bid on the night. All the prizes are there to be seen. They're all shown on a programme, and then afterwards we're going to be seeing who can get people like you with your money out, Chris.
Yeah, well, I haven't got that much money. I think actually we put one of the prizes in, to be fair. But yeah, it's going to be a fantastic night and an ideal time to do it. Raise some funds for the club, and which is what Lightning fans and everybody else are very, very good at. But just before Christmas as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and yeah, there'll be some nice Christmas presents. I know there are quite a few meals. I think there's a tracksuit, like one of the team tracksuits. There are all sorts of different prizes there that are up for grabs. And the good thing is, you can go as high as you want to go. No one's going to force anybody to bid, but all the money goes towards the club and helps us to, as you know, all our money goes to the team. So a very worthy cause, we think.
That's brilliant. Well, Vito, thanks very much for coming up to speak to us. All the best on the road down Swindon tomorrow, and Guildford 7 o'clock next Saturday.
Absolutely. Thanks very much.
Well, thanks as always, especially to Steve Moore and Vito Rausa for coming up and having a chat with us post-game. Now let's go and check out the rest of the weekend's results and see what that does to Sunday night's league table. So, as well as that fantastic Lightning result, there were 3 other games in the league on Saturday night. Slough took the points at home to Sheffield, whilst Basingstoke and Manchester met yet again, this time back in Bison's home barn, with the home side recording a 5-2 win to ensure daylight at the top of the league. Elsewhere, Guildford broke Phantom's hearts when ex-Phantom Nathan Rempel netted with just 30 seconds to go to give Flames the points with a 4-3 win. On to Sunday, and it was to be yet another winless weekend for Andre Pyatt and the Steel Dogs as they went down 5-1 at home to Bracknell, but it was a short-lived joy for Bees as the league's top-scoring import Marcel Petron has left the club to play in Kazakhstan. Slough made it a max points weekend but needed penalty shots in Manchester to defeat Phoenix 4-3, whilst Peterborough came up with one of the shock results of the season when they beat high-flying Basingstoke 6-3 at home. Lightning came away from Swindon with the win with a 5-2 scoreline to keep the pressure on at the top of the table, whilst Guildford beat Tigers 4-1 in Telford. Tigers coach Tom Watkins now has some serious injury concerns with his young squad. So onto the table then, and it's Basingstoke who stay top with Manchester and Guildford tied in second. Lightning are a point further back with Guildford being the visitors to the Thunderdome this coming weekend, of course. Then it's Slough, Bracknell and Swindon. Peterborough level on points with Sheffield courtesy of that shock result on Sunday, followed by Telford. Still all to play for, it's not even Christmas yet. Okay, a very busy week in the English Premier League coming up. Let's take a look at the upcoming fixtures. Now, first of all, there's action on Tuesday night as Sheffield host Swindon. Then on Wednesday, Slough host Lightning, whilst Telford entertain Guildford. Both those games face off at 8 o'clock. On Saturday, Lightning host the Flames, of course, while Sheffield travel to Swindon. Manchester go to Bracknell, and Peterborough have a very tough trip to Basingstoke to face former Phantoms D-man James Hutchinson and his new team. Last of all, Slough host Guildford in what's sure to be another tight contest. On Sunday, it's just the 4 games as Lightning face a long and tough trip to Manchester, with Guildford travelling to Peterborough. Bracknell take the trip to Sheffield, while Slough go to Telford. So lots of interesting games to come this week, and we'll catch up, of course, with all the results as normal in next week's show. Well, there you go. That's pretty much all we've got time for this week. As we enter the festive month, of course, how much festive cheer will be in around the EPL over the next few weeks. For more information, of course, you can find out by going to the Lightning website, www.mk-lightning.com. Don't forget, next Saturday night, 7 o'clock face-off is Guildford Flames and that promise auction straight after the game as well. If you want to get a discount on your tickets, of course, all you need to do is go to the box office before Friday. Until then, take care. We'll see you then.